The Enterprise is involved in a cat and mouse situation. Well, yeah, if you call it a situation. It's a Balance of Terror next.
Hi, I'm Chip Cosell, and this is
John Whitney, how you doing?
and this is Edith Keeler's Edge of Forever Bar and Grill. Thanks for joining us. The bar is open. John, how are you?
I'm all right. Not bad.
Excellent.
You know, getting old.
Yeah, me too.
Beyond that.
No, I forgot to mention. I just realized we were talking about our shirts. This is the Edith Keeler shirt I made.
I saw that.
Oh, I totally forgot to bring it up.
It's very nice.
This is it's like a sample thing of what is possible. It's kind of like a little wonky in some areas.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You know.
I think there needs some original artwork in the middle would be good.
Yeah, this is original, but it needs. I think we need to have like a the shape of the Guardian
Or something, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like this itself, I want to be an actual T-shirt by itself. But I just put something in there.
Yeah.
But it says Edith Keeler's Edge of Forever Bar and Grill. And I forgot established 1937 is what I want to put. Because that's the year that she would have died or lived and caused trouble for the Federation.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Very good. Yeah, the butterfly effect.
Yeah, man. So what are we drinking in the bar tonight?
Oh, yeah. So we've got some old Overholt straight whiskey. It's only 84, 86 proof.
That's very drinkable. Did we meet these guys on the other podcast, Whiskey Business, with Dino Tripodis?
No.
Old Overholt?
Yes, only via. Sorry, I'm rude.
No, it's okay.
I think we had them on the podcast, but it was through Zoom or whatever during the pandemic.
I thought it was during the pandemic, and they were at the watering hole in his backyard.
Maybe. Anyway, so this is it. It's straight rye whiskey.
I like rye.
Aged 4 years, and actually it's pretty good. And pick it up. It's only like $20.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, pretty good. All right, here you go.
Oh, cheers.
All right, take one sip.
That'll start us off nice and easy.
Get cracking.
Hey.
We get cracking. Okay, so we open, and we are the.
Don't you want to do the business first?
Oh no.
Like and subscribe. All right,
that's right. Like and subscribe. If you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell. It'll notify you whenever we put up any kind of video or content. And remember, we are fans, not experts. So sometimes we'll just we'll go in the wrong order and mess some things up and not remember things correctly. But that's okay.
That's right. So join us on Facebook and on Instagram for additional content and commentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
thanks.
So it opens. We're at a wedding.
Yeah.
And Kirk is about to officiate a wedding, and he gets a call from the bridge.
Yeah, he comes into the chapel, and Bones is like, "You got a call from the bridge."
Yeah.
So he walks over.
So he goes over there and gets on the thing, and he's like, "What's going on?" And she tells him that they got a signal from an outpost near the neutral zone, Outpost 4, saying that they were under attack.
That's right. Yeah. So he's like, "Okay, Outpost 3, and then Outpost 4. They're on their way to Outpost 4."
Right. So
that's it. So they're not quite under attack yet, but they do get under attack, and that interrupts the wedding. Remember?
Yeah. So they go to the wedding, and he's got this weird eye light, And,
yeah. And he's like talking about what a happy privilege it is to marry people. And she's like, they don't talk about religion at all on Star Trek, but this is like one of the few times it's kind of referenced.
Yeah.
Like she's kneeling.
Yeah, or like multiple gods, or whatever he says.
Yeah, our multiple beliefs.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Sulu comes over the intercom. Battle of
Red alert!
Red alert! Red alert!
Yeah, and so they get their Outpost 4 is under attack, so they.
Well, they're running around to the commercial, but when we come out of commercial, we're on the bridge.
Oh, but I wanted you to talk about that lens that Scotty was playing with right at the beginning opening shot.
Yeah, some weird big fisheye lens or something.
Yeah, it's just old-fashioned-y. You think in 400 years in the future, but Scotty, shows his character that he loves the vintage lenses. So I was telling Johnny, got that old vintage lens from a CP16 or something.
Whatever that is.
He goes, "It's going to be podcast all over a ship, Captain."
Yeah, so he comes on the bridge, and Uhura says, "Outpost number 4 is under attack, sir." And he gets out there, and And then Scotty basically says, you know, I'll get you some more speed. Don't worry about it. So they're sitting there, and Kirk asks Spock to put up the sector map.
Yeah.
He calls it a sector map. And he brings it up, and it's like this really crappy, I don't even know what it is. I could have drawn it.
It's like a cartoon cartoon manual from a dentist office in the 50s or something. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's odd. And then the thing that represents the ship is the Enterprise is this little white kind of bright dot.
Yeah, bright dot. Is it flashing? I don't remember.
I can't remember if it was flashing.
Yeah.
But it is moving. I did notice that it's moving closer to the
neutral
outpost.
zone. Yeah, this neutral zone, which is this line down it, and it has like the outposts 1 through 7.
Yeah. So Kirk, you know, says, "I need to talk to the ship." So Uhura puts him through, and he starts talking about where they are, and then Spock is going to explain to him what's going on. So basically, this is the first time we've ever heard the neutral zone on the show.
Yeah, or Romulans.
Or Romulans.
Yeah.
So Spock is kind of Mr. Exposition, and so he goes through what the neutral zone is, and it's, you know, it's from the war from 100 years ago between the Romulans and the Earth.
Yeah.
And nobody has seen anybody. Nobody knows what they look like.
Yeah.
And we know of them as a warlike people that are brutal, and only the Romulans know what they think about Earth.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's Mr. Exposition, and he gives that, and then Kirk steps up more like a military leader in this episode and says, "Here's our orders." Yeah. Basically, he's saying they're expendable and they're trying to like not cross the neutral zone or cause war, but
that it comes down to it. They'll destroy the ship in hopes to stop something from happening.
Yeah.
And then Styles goes, "Well, there's only one. You know who it is."
Yeah, it's the Romulans. He's all Mr. Racist in this episode.
Oh yeah, and he's like, he's like, we don't even know what they would look like. What is the ship? What are we gonna do? Just assume that that's Romulans? We don't even know what their ships look like. Yeah. And he says, you can recognize them because they have a giant bird of prey painted on their ship.
Yeah.
He's, well, aren't you the expert?
Yeah, he's like, family history, like 100 years ago, his whole family was wiped out.
Yeah.
And he knew about it. So he knows about it. He's very angry towards the Romulans.
Yeah, he's like, in that war, and he goes,
Kirk's like, their war, mister.
Yeah. So they're talking, and all of a sudden, there's
Uhura's like, contact with Outpost 4, Captain.
Right. And it's
audio only. And then the Outpost guy's talking, Enterprise.
Captain.
You know? Yeah.
Hey.
It's like, he talks about being under attack by a vessel that's hard to see. It's an incredibly powerful plasma weapon.
It only appears for a second right before it fires.
And now they're close enough for a visual, screen on visual. And like they get a visual and they see the outpost is in shambles.
Yeah, and the guy's, Enterprise, can you see? Yes, we can see.
It's like, we're a mile deep of an asteroid completely of pure iron, and it still broke through our shields and caused all this damage.
And I think really dramatic. I think he sounds like Forrest Whitaker from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Don't do that, you know, or whatever. I'm going to destroy him. Anyway.
Yes.
I don't know. He just kind of sounds like Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Yeah, he really does. He's that beat up.
Yeah, and he says, something's coming up on our sensors. And he's like, I can see it now. And he's like, flip to your...
Yeah, he goes, flip to your screen. So he hits this button, and it shows the screen, and it's blank, and then all of a sudden the Bird of Prey appears.
Right.
The ship, the Bird of Prey, yeah.
And the big fireball comes out.
Yeah, and it totally destroys it, the base. And, of course, the technology makes it able for us to go back to the exterior view of the ship disappearing. So I don't know how they did that. Yeah.
He's like reacting. We get the big reacting shot, and then it kind of dissolves, because they disappear because he's been pulverized.
Yeah. Spock is scanning, and he sees that they're making a heading of 111 Mark 14, Mark 14. They're going back into the neutral zone.
Well, he says something weird. He's like going, the signal is actually making a quite leisurely maneuver.
Oh, yeah, that was it, yeah. They don't know that we're here, kind of thing.
Yeah, and they're thinking that maybe the cloaking device goes both ways.
Yeah.
If it's on, you really can't see. It's hard to see anything.
That's right. That's what happened, yeah.
So then he tells those guys, listen, Styles is like, we're going to attack, right? And he goes, no. We're gonna match their pacing. We're going to turn for turn. We're going to make them think that it's some kind of a reflection or an echo. So this is some submarine tactic shit going on right now with sonar. Yeah, for sure. So that's what they do. Yeah. And so that's when they have the argument of like, he says, go to general quarters or whatever it is. Styles starts talking about, don't you think we should be in at least that there might be somebody on board that is a spy?
Sulu concurs and advises go to security alert.
And so Kirk is like, all right then, security alert.
Yeah, and then Uhura picks up this transmission from him that's garbled. It's like in code. Yeah. So she picks it up and sends it to, the people that decode messages.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and then
Spock thinks he can lock on to the signal, right?
Right. That's it. Yeah. He locks on, and we see the bridge for the first time, the bridge of the enemy, and it's these guys with these weird helmets, and then Mark Leonard turns to the camera and reveals that it's Spock's father the whole time. It's like crazy. Oh my God! Oh my God, father!
He's a Romulan.
We were separated at birth, Captain. No, it's Mark Leonard playing the sub-commander of the Romulan vessel, and everybody's freaking out because for some reason there's a nice dramatic dolly move right into his face.
It's amazing how that stuff works.
Yeah, the technology.
Oh, yeah. So
everybody's like looking at each other. Yeah,
the fucking style is like daggers right at Spock
because he's a racist.
And Spock is like go figures. It figures.
How about that? And Spock has this look as the camera dials in, like his eyebrow is like, how about that?
Yeah, that's funny.
And then it's a commercial break.
Yes. Yeah. And we're back on the bridge, and Styles is just staring at Spock.
Staring him down.
And so is Scotty actually in the background is kind of looking at him.
Yeah, I never really noticed that before, but same with Scotty. He's like,
he's kind of.
He doesn't know what to think. Yeah. I don't know if I should be a racist.
Kirk kind of sees all that, and he's like goes in front of Styles and taps on his screen. Yeah. He's like, get back.
It's a great moment. Like he sees it, he knows. Come on, buddy, that's enough. And then Uhura says she sent the message to cryptography, and Styles chimes in, give it to Mr. Spock. He can figure it out.
Yeah, I bet he can figure it out.
Yeah, because he's a freaking Romulan. He's what he's saying without saying it.
And then Kirk is like, what'd you say? He goes, nothing, sir. He goes, no, say it out loud right now.
Yeah, he goes, I just think that Mr. Spock should be able to decode the message. Oh, are you complimenting Mr. Spock on his decoding message skills, his decoding skills? Yeah. Is that why? He goes, not so much, sir. And this is like, well, then he has a speech like, all right, leave your bigotry in your quarters, you know? This obviously is a well-disguised racial episode, racist a show commenting on racism, which science fiction does all the time, and Star Trek does really well.
Yeah, they do a really good job on that.
The ship appears, and then they stay with it. They alter the course. Then we go to
stay with them.
Yeah. Then they go to the Bird of Prey, and they say, "Sir, we have a reflection of echo." And I don't know, Mark Leonard's buying it or not. They talk about, this is the way to study the enemy kind of thing. Like, so they're studying each other. Yeah, and the one guy comes up and is like, hey, you sent a message, you broke the protocol. He goes, it was a coded message, sir, talking about a great, glorious victory.
All right, victory.
Yeah, and this guy that he's talking to, it turns out to be Stan in a later episode of Vulcan later on.
Yeah.
So he's like to hire the same guys. I like that.
He said, well, your message may have just foiled this mission or something like that.
You're demoted 2 ranks. And
2 ranks. Go back to your station.
Yeah. And his buddy's like, hey, you can't mess with him because he knows people and it could be very dangerous.
Yeah, the Centurion.
Yeah. And he's like, well, danger is my friend.
Yeah, or something like that.
It was like, death, my constant companion. Danger is my friend. Fear, the goofy neighbor who always comes over and stops by unannounced. The Ohio drive-by. I am not afraid of this.
Why are you talking about the Ohio drive-by?
It's that kind of thing. Yes, death, my constant companion. Danger, my friend.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's like he's got balls, this Mark Leonard guy,
Yeah. Is this the part where he talks about, part of me thinks that we will not survive?
Yes. Part of me just wants us to be destroyed.
And then he says, don't worry, my friend. I know my duty too well to allow that to happen.
Yes.
And then the guy was like, I love you.
Yes, he's all enamored. Ooh, he said duty. Cuts to the bridge.
We go to the bridge.
Space, bridge.
And they decide they have to talk about this and see what they're going to do, right?
Well, Sulu's studying the turning. They're turning again, and they like, let's stay with them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Kirk gets an update with Navigator, and he's like, we'll be in the neutral zone in 1 hour. And then Kirk calls a staff meeting. So, okay, let's go talk about this in the meeting room. So they go to the conference room. And Spock gives a presentation because...
some metal that's the strongest in the world.
Yeah, Scotty said that they beamed some debris on board from outposts. And he said the hardest known substance to man, rhodidium. And then Spock just crushes it with his hand. Yeah, so they just totally wasted it from this plasma thing that caused so much pressure on it for it to turn this thing worthless.
So Styles kind of gets fired up in this scene. He says, we have got to attack.
Yeah.
Right now. And, isn't McCoy...
Yeah, if they see a weakness, they report that we ran, and they'll come and say that we're weak, and they'll come out 10 times the amount. They'll have all their forces come and just destroy us. So we got to show strength.
Mr. Spock says, I agree.
Yes. Yeah, surprisingly, he agrees with the racist guy.
And everybody's looking at him like, oh, what? Especially Sulu. He's like, oh, what?
Yeah. He agrees. He said, if these people are an offshoot of my people, then attacking is an imperative. Because their past is like one of martial law. And he starts talking about how it is important that they show strength and attack.
Yeah. And then McCoy's like, what? Start a galactic war based on a war that was 100 years ago? We don't even know what these people look like. We haven't even met them. Yeah. He's all pissed.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to go.
He does not want to go to war.
No, not at all. So they come up with this plan. So they basically... They say, check the road ahead.
He checks with Uhura where they're at, and they're coming up on a comet, and Spock looks on the computer screen and says, I see the course, and there's a comet ahead, and the enemy's making a course right to it. So Kirk gets an idea. Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll catch them when the invisible ship goes through the comet. We'll be able to see a trace of it, and we'll attack them on the other side. So he decides to go to.
But what is Kirk says is right after that or before that, where Kirk's like going, so there must be some blah blah blah, and starts to hand him some book.
Yeah, starts to hand him a big leather-bound book, which is really
pushes away like
So they decide they're going to attack, and Kirk says, "Let's attack."
They all leave, right? Because they have the plan.
Yeah.
And Kirk says to McCoy, "I hope we don't have to use your services, Doctor." He's like going, amen to that.
Amen to that, brother. Then it comes back from commercial, and there's a beautiful shot of the comet. Awesome renovated shot,
Yeah, we'll see. So they must be close to some kind of sun, because that's typically when you can see the tail of the comet.
Yeah.
So they must be in some, I don't know,
some system that they haven't mentioned.
I guess, but you didn't talk about the neutral zone have any stars or anything around.
Yeah, no, they didn't. It's weird.
I guess we'll find out later.
Yeah.
So they are waiting for the ship to go into the comet.
Yeah.
And they cut to the bridge of the Romulans, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, oh, the beauty of this blah blah blah, it's so wonderful, and and then the Centurion says, you said something about a surprise or what did you say? A surprise or some kind of a surprise attack or something. It's like as soon as we go in there and their sensors can't see us.
The sensors will be obscured. We will turn and we will attack the shadow. That's what he says. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then the one guy says, the shadow has disappeared, sir. And he's like, what? Escape maneuver 1.
Yeah.
And they quickly hightail it into a different course.
Then they go back to the bridge of the Enterprise, and they're waiting for it to come through,
Yeah, Kirk's like, okay, get ready. We're going to go around the comet.
Sue's like going, Captain?
Yeah, Captain.
What's going on? And so he's like going, hard starboard right, or whatever.
It's a full starboard. And they get out of there, they back out. He's going to try to come under us. And he's like, he gets around and he goes, fire phasers. And then he fires the phasers.
And all these phasers. But it's actually photon torpedoes. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're firing, and then
Bird of Prey is hit hard.
And the Centurion notices that something is falling onto the captain, and he pushes him off and gets hit on the head. Pulls the thing off the Centurion. He's like, going to ready the weapons. We're going to fire and we're going to attack.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they go to the bridge, and it appears on the monitor.
Oh, and their phasers are out.
Yeah.
Their phasers got knocked out. Phaser control got damaged.
It's a little fire that Spock had to put out underneath there.
Yeah, he taps it out.
And so they're wrong, and all of a sudden they fire.
Right.
And he's like, the
Bird of Prey fires the plasma weapon, and Kirk's like, emergency warp.
Yeah.
Full stern
or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, emergency warp.
Yeah, so they're warping backwards away from this thing.
So it's like coming toward them, and they're running away. Why can't they just make a right?
Damn, I know, that drives me crazy about this. Like, what? Or even if they couldn't they just slightly vector off? Damn.
I don't know. I guess they don't think about that.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I guess you're not generating any kind of drama if you're just that easy.
But he's at like warp 9 or whatever, emergency warp, warping away from this plasma weapon, right?
That's right. And then Yeoman Rand comes in and she's like going, should I continue to do whatever you've done? Not right now. Not right now. We're busy. Don't worry about it. And she just kind of was like, okay.
And then it gets closer, and they get real close to each other.
Oh, are you kidding? There's a big countdown of like 10 seconds. 5, 4, and then all of a sudden she gets right up against him. And he like grabs her.
Yeah, he grabs her, holds on to her tight. Yeah. It reminded me of that scene in Airplane where they're like watching the plane come in for a landing, and the woman, the wife of one of the pilots, is like up against the guy at the control room, and then she starts massaging his chest. It's really cool, though. But this was a great moment between them, because this is her last performance. Not performance, this is her last appearance.
Big one. They're continuing to run away, and all of a sudden, Sulu says, "It's dissipating, sir."
Yeah. And he's like, it has range, limited range.
And it does explode.
Yeah, it does hit them.
Yeah, but it's very, very low.
It's dissipated.
Yeah, so
it's not like that.
Their shields held.
Yeah.
And they were able to kind of survive. There was a really nice shot where basically Rand is like kind of releases the hug and then moves to his left shoulder into a 2-shot.
Yeah.
When the dolly moves in, it's very nice.
Yeah, that's a really cool shot.
Very good shot. After that shot, they notice that it's going back to its original course.
Yeah, so they assume that like the Enterprise is dead, but Kirk's like, I wouldn't make that assumption if I was him. So they're going back to shadowing them.
They decide they're gonna
warp up there and catch them before they get to the neutral zone.
So they zip up there and they lay down some fire.
Yeah, phaser fire.
Photon torpedoes.
Yeah, photon torpedoes.
And so there's more damage on the Romulan ship, and he's like going, this captain is a sly one.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the devil.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and then it turns out this is where the Centurion dies, and then they said throw some debris in the tube. Mm-hmm. In the
throw the Centurion in there with them, and he's like going, "Forgive me, my friend, but I must do everything to my power to get home."
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, giving up his friend's body.
So they do that.
Space.
And we go back to the Enterprise, and then all of a sudden they say, "Hey," because they're still firing on him, and all of a sudden, Sulu says, "There's some debris."
Yeah. Sulu catches debris. Spock analyzes it and says, "Debris, styrofoam, plasticine." Pyrotechnic form, whatever. I don't know. One body, but not enough mass to make up a ship. And they lost them.
Right, and that's an old World War II submarine trick where you put shit in the tubes, put it out there, and it float to the surface, and you try to get the ship that's doing depth charges to basically say, "Oh, we got them," and then they go away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an old trick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, there's a lot of people probably involved in the writing that were probably in World War II.
Right.
So I don't know if there was any submariners on the staff,
but
that's
sense.
Like an old
submarine trick.
It might be,
Yeah.
So they decided to go into a silent mode, right?
Yeah.
And so they're just like hanging out, and it's like 8 hours of just being silent. Part of my question is that do they have sensors that can hear in space? Because I always thought that...
Because you understand in water sound travels.
Yeah, I understand that part. But when you're in space, supposedly sound doesn't travel because there's nothing for the sound to ride on. There's no air.
Yeah.
Or water or whatever.
No one can hear you scream.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, that's another science fiction property.
Yeah. So this whole like run silent thing is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And so we cut away to Kirk is lying down in his room.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there silently, just kind of hanging out because it's been 8 hours.
Yeah.
And Rand comes in and she's like, can I get you something from the galley, sir?
Well, she's like, he goes, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take coffee on the bridge.
Right.
And then McCoy walks in, totally cock blocking.
I know, what the hell?
Because apparently, I think she wanted to come in and just show some humanity to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She leaves. And they have a moment, Bones and him.
Yeah, Bones has this like kind of like really kind of. It was a nice thought,
because he's Kirk is like opening up to him and talking to him about how the stress of the job, all this, kind of reminiscent of the first non-aired pilot. Right.
I wish I was on some kind of cruise.
I wish I was on a cruise. Yeah, just chilling.
Thinking about this stuff. It's the people I look around on the set. I look around on the bridge and I see all these young people's faces and how did I get here? Why me? Yeah. And he gets up and then McCoy stops him and he starts going to this thing where he's like going, there are millions of galaxies and then in those millions of galaxies there's in all those galaxies there's only 2 of us. Don't kill the one named Kirk. Yeah. Something like that, right? I can't remember what it is, but it was really nice, actually.
Yeah, so he gives him a pep talk, mathematical pep talk.
Mathematical
that Neil deGrasse Tyson would probably like.
Don't kill us, basically.
Yeah.
That's right. It's like, we're all counting on you.
Yeah. Yeah, so Kirk goes back up to the bridge.
So they're still running silent. He gets up to the bridge. Spock is working on something. And
he's that phaser control thing on the bottom.
He's reaching up and he accidentally hits a button. He's like, beep, 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 and everybody like looks over at him, and then Styles is like,
I knew it, you traitor.
Like that. And he turns it off, and Kirk's like, it's okay, don't worry, it's okay.
Power on. So Kirk decides it's out of the bag. Power on. The bird of prey gets the signal.
Yeah, they're going,
signal. Go towards him. Move towards him. So Kirk's like powering up, goes, okay, they're going to try coming from underneath us. And he swings around and says, fire phasers. And he fires the phasers, which are photon torpedoes. Mm-hmm. And the bird of prey is like, what? How did he know? The bird of prey is getting hammered.
Yeah, getting hammered. The guy's like going, we are beaten.
Yeah, we are defeated.
This is the flagship of the...
Yeah, and he's like, all right, more waste and put more crap in the tubes and one of those old style nuclear weapons we have on board.
Yeah, right. Well, but those are only for self-destruction. Do it. They're all right, Commander.
So he injects with a proximity detector, which means it'll blow off when it's near the Enterprise.
Yeah, so they do that, and they go back to the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And they're going, more debris, sir. And then Spock is like describing the debris, and he's like, it's similar to the last time, except for one metal-cased object.
It was hard astern, fire, point blank range.
Yeah, right.
And boom, they hit this thing and it blows up this huge nuclear explosion, which we didn't get to really see a really good special effect.
I wish they would do that because it's kind of fun to be able to cut out and just see it.
Yeah.
And so
that'd be neat.
So after it's all said and done, they're kind of like, they show a shot of it kind of like floating on its side almost, kind of like. And then they're damaged, but they're okay.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of circuits that are out. And bone and
there's some radiation from people, some radiation burns from the explosion.
Right.
But they're all good. But he's like, no, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stay here, play dead. And meantime, back on the other ship, they're like, they are defeated. And Sarek is like, let's go home.
He's like, no, we must finish them. Remember remember what you're here for or whatever.
Yeah,
your duty. Remember your duty.
Yeah, he goes, if you don't, then I will give the order of its glorious destruction.
Right.
He's like, no, prepare to fire the weapon.
Yeah, he says, we will attack, but on my order.
Yeah, because he wants the glory, so he's taking the bait. And then they cut back to...
Oh, yeah, when he walks away after he says that, he walks toward the control thing, and the guy who says, I'll take the glory, give me the glory, he gives this look like going... That was easy.
Is that right? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he's like going,
yeah,
I know how to manipulate this guy. And so there's a moment on the bridge of the Enterprise where we find out that the kid who was supposed to get married is by himself in the weapons room. And
That's
there's nobody to replace him.
Yeah, there's not a backup.
Yeah, and Styles is like...
hey, my first training was in weapons.
Yeah, go. And that's what he says. He says go. So he goes down there.
And then Kirk's like, Uhura, take his station.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, which is really cool. And for the time, this is one of those moments in Star Trek that are historical, but you don't really think about it nowadays, was having a black woman come in and just fit into the job and expected to do the job without any hesitation. And she does, and it's amazing. But we don't really think of it. We just say, oh yeah, Uhura's taken over. Of course she is. But back then...
Everybody's trained to do everything. Like on the bridge.
Yeah.
In order to be a bridge.
Yeah, and back in the 60s, that was a huge thing to present that.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
So Spock goes down to the weapons room.
Yeah, he's just checking in on him.
He's like,
Styles being a racist dick.
Anything you help with? And he's like going, I think you've done enough, Vulcan. Whatever he says. Spock just kind of looks at him like, okay, I'm out of here. And he leaves. And then all of a sudden, the Bird of Prey is coming up on the Enterprise, and it decloaks.
Yes, it decloaks because they think the Enterprise is basically dead. They're going to get ready. And then Kirk's like, yeah, we got him. You know, fire.
Yeah, fire. Mr. Styles, fire.
He's getting
out. Now would be a good time to fire. One of those moments.
Yeah.
And he like goes and he clicks something in front of Uhura, and it becomes on the loudspeakers, and Spock hears it, and he runs to the place.
Runs to the phaser control room.
Before that, we saw the gas coming out.
So. Oh, yeah, Styles is freaking out because of the gas. He's like, Tomlinson.
Yeah.
He's like a pussy now. Tomlinson.
Yeah,
he's like all pissed off. He's like scary.
Spock runs in there and sees all this gas, and he's basically and Styles can't reach up there and even do anything.
Yeah.
And he ends up pushing the buttons to get to fire the phasers. And he pushes the red button, and the phasers fire.
Yeah.
And the Bird of Prey, they're successful. The Bird of Prey is out of commission.
Yeah, disabled. Yeah, just knocked out. It's like twisting in space.
Right. Disabled. Cool. Yes, disabled. So that's a deep cut from a TV show I loved called...
What?
Called the IT crowd.
Hashtag IT crowd.
Disabled.
Disabled.
Yeah. Anybody who knows IT crowd knows exactly what that is. Okay, so the ship is basically dead.
Yeah.
And
Spock gets out of there, and
we don't.
Spock, we don't really know what happens.
We don't know what happens.
Yeah.
But when we go back to the bridge and we see it kind of floating there all crooked, they want to hail them.
Yeah. Kirk has Uhura hail them. It comes up on the screen. The bridge is in shambles of the Bird of Prey. And Sarah comes up to the nice close up and is talking to Kirk and says, "In another time, you and I would have been friends."
Mm-hmm. And he says, "Well, we can beam your crew up."
Yeah, prepare to beam your survivors aboard.
Like, well, this is not what we do. We do not do this. This is not our way. He goes, I have a duty. My last duty is going to scuttle the ship.
Yeah.
So he blows it up.
Yeah, self-destruct, and it just destroys typical.
Yeah, and Kirk understands. He's actually kind of like he gives like the look of like almost like a salute because you did your thing, dude. Yeah. You did your thing.
Funny you should say that because I read that there was a deleted portion of the script that actually had Kirk saluting him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that actually showed him saluting him, but they cut that part out.
Yeah, they probably decided that you don't want to salute somebody who just like killed four sets of crew people on the at the whatever. So now we go to the sickbay, and
Styles is laying in bed, and
he explains, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for Mr. Spock. He came in there and saved us.
Yeah, he said, I saved the Enterprise from losing an experienced navigator. That I'm not capable of having any other emotion.
Yeah, and he kind of looked at it like on, okay.
Yeah, like whatever.
Kirk asked McCoy if there's anybody else who has been injured. How's, and he said there's only one casualty. It was Tomlinson.
Yeah,
the boy that was
going
to get married this morning.
Yeah.
And his fiancée is in the chapel.
Yeah.
So Kirk goes there, and we cut to she's kind of on her knees, kind of praying or whatever she's doing, and all of a sudden, whoosh, the door opens and there's like a shadowy figure, and it's Kirk, and he walks in and looks at her, and she looks at him, and
she tears in her eye,
and she like goes up and hugs him. What does he say? He says like...
he said he goes, it's really hard to understand why something like this happens, but we got to know that there was a reason for it.
A reason for it. And she understands, and she looks at him, and it's like a really weird thing. If I would have lost my, fiance or wife or whatever, that like an hour ago,
Yeah.
And I would be pretty upset. And she goes, "I'm okay," and then walks out. What is up with that? That's a weird reaction.
What's up with that?
So she leaves, and he kind of has this moment of clarity, or whatever you want to call it, like we survived.
Yeah.
And then the credits come up.
Yeah, and he's walking down the halls like business as usual.
That's it.
It's the next day for the Enterprise.
And
that's the end of the episode.
What do we think about this episode?
It's one of my favorite. I really like it because of the way that it explores the fact that the ship is not only there for explorational purposes, but it is a military vessel, and we get to see that aspect of this clearly. And it shows Captain Kirk's ability to command a vessel of that nature.
Yeah,
it really shows it to his reputation that he has. It's a good demonstration of that.
Yeah, then in war you could count on Kirk.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going to happen? They would survive, I think, because he's very cunning, and he shows that off in a couple of different episodes in other seasons, and thinks how good he is as a tactician in battle. Anyway, so we like it. I love it too. It's one of my favorites as well, even though I can't remember a lot of details. But I really do. I think the writing is great. I think the acting is really good, and it's very very well done.
Yeah. And Mark Leonard was asked at a convention, like, what is his favorite character? Did he like playing Spock's father? And he said, yeah, he enjoyed playing Spock's father, but his best performance, he said, was playing the commander of the Romulan vessel. He said it was the most raw, nuanced performance with a lot of depth and.
Oh yeah, because they have like emotion.
Yeah.
You're right.
He had a lot to work with.
Yeah, a lot of good material to work with. Good writing. I mean, it's really nicely done. Anyway, okay, so that was that. Yeah. If you like what you see, subscribe and put some comments.
Yeah.
And
join us on Facebook and Instagram.
Right. That's right. Our next episode is another one of my favorites.
Yes.
It's called Shore Leave.
Mine too. Yes.
So until next time, right?
Yep, the bar's closed.